Today on Carolina Week, 40 days of protests against abortion start today in Raleigh. We take you there.
The new state budget will change how much income tax you'll pay next year.
And we'll explain how a missed deadline left many students living out of a suitcase for weeks.
Carolina Week starts right now.
From the UNC Hussman School of Journalism and Media, connecting Carolina's campus and community, this is Carolina Week.
Hello and welcome to Carolina Week. I'm Kelly Kendall.
And I'm Lauren Lovett. Happening now, the abortion debate is on full display in Raleigh. A group against abortions has launched a campaign to spend the next 40 days in front of a clinic trying to stop abortions.
Meanwhile, the clinic calls it harassment. Let's turn straight to Carolina Week reporter Kristen Snyder, who's there. Kristen, you talked to both sides.
Well, I'm just outside a Woman's Now clinic in Raleigh, North Carolina, where pro-life advocates have started a 40 Days for Life campaign where they're praying over the building and passing out literature to those going on inside. On the other side, clinic escorts are attempting to move women with appointments through the area as quickly as they can without interference from pro-life advocates. Pro-life advocates say that this 40 Days for Life initiative will decrease the amount of abortions at the clinic. I talked to both sides, and here's what they said.
We're out there in the heat, the 100-degree heat. We're out there in the 30-degree cold. We're out on Good Friday when it's pouring rain and 50 degrees because we know that it's right. We know that we're doing this to save lives.
And, people seeking abortions are coming to our clinic for that health care, are facing this harassment and violence that they don't have to at any other healthcare facility, and they shouldn't have to when they're coming to our clinic.
Earlier this week, there was also a rally outside the state legislature to mark World Contraception Day. Back to you in the studio.
Kristen, thank you so much for that important reporting. Now turning to a story we've been covering from the start. The university is now processing the results of a survey it sent to the Carolina community 2 weeks ago. The university asked for feedback on its response to the deadly campus shooting in late August that claimed the life of a faculty member. The university told us it's still too early to share information because it's still processing those results. But some students who we talked to chose not to participate, pointing out the timing. The survey was emailed out to campus on the same day the school was put on lockdown again for a weapon on campus.
I completely forgot about this survey. It just left my mind. I think the second incident kind of just set everybody back. So really just did not think about, you really just thought about your safety in the moment, not about taking a survey.
As for the investigation, police tell us they have still not found the gun involved in the deadly August shooting, and they have not released any information on the potential motive.
The White House has now established the first ever Office of Gun Violence Prevention. The new office is set to focus on implementing executive and legislative action to combat the nation's gun violence epidemic. According to the Gun Violence Archive, the United States has had more than 500 mass shootings this year alone. Vice President Kamala Harris will oversee this new office.
The Chapel Hill Police Department may be getting a new home. The proposed new location is the Parkline building at the intersection of Fordham Boulevard and Easttown Drive. CHPD is currently headquartered at the intersection of Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard and Bolinwood Drive. But the police chief says the building has several maintenance issues. She shared images of the building's condition during a town council meeting. Take a look.
Where water pours directly into our lab, mildew on our walls, a bucket that permanently stays on the captain's desk to capture leaks, stained carpet from toilets that are overflowing repeatedly, and a metal plate on the floor to cover where it's rotted out.
The lease on the new space is still being worked out, but Deputy Town Manager Mary Jane Nerdlinger says that the hope is to get the police department relocated within a year.
A Durham City Councilwoman speaks out after a state investigation found no evidence against her for extortion or bribery. Halsey Hyman was accused of bribing a developer in exchange for an election campaign donation in March. According to the State Bureau of Investigation, there was no credible evidence against the councilwoman. She says it not only impacted her mental health and job opportunities, but it also took a toll on her daughter, who is a recent UNC graduate.
I had to take the money that I saved for her to go to law school, but she's going to get an attorney.
Halsey Hyman is running for re-election.
North Carolina finally has a new state budget. The General Assembly passed the budget on Friday, nearly 3 months after the July 1st deadline. The new state budget, which passed the General Assembly on Friday, includes $30 billion of provisions for raises, Medicaid expansion, and more. The budget includes a 7% raise over the next 2 years for state employees and teachers, with an added raise for bus drivers of about 2%. The budget will also gradually reduce the personal income tax rate from its current 4.75% to 3.99% after 2025, with potential to go as low as 2.49% after 2029.
Medicaid expansion will also go into effect later this year on December 1st as part of the budget, which means around 600,000 more people in North Carolina will have access to Medicaid. One provision in the budget exempts lawmakers from public records laws and allows them to keep all legislative documents private, even after they leave office.
Another provision allows the General Assembly to appoint 10 new Superior Court judges to 8-year terms. These judges would not be voted on in elections. The budget also provides more funding for the Opportunity Scholarship program over the next decade, and that gives money to parents who choose private schools.
After the General Assembly passed the budget on Friday, Governor Roy Cooper released a statement calling it a bad budget. However, he cited Medicaid expansion as the reasoning for allowing the budget to pass into law without his signature. Cooper said, quote, "I will not allow people who are crying for help to wait any longer. So I am directing our Department of Health and Human Services to begin the process for expanding Medicaid while allowing this budget to become law without my signature."
In response, Republican House Speaker Tim Moore said in a statement, quote, "While I am disappointed that Governor Cooper has refused to sign the budget, I am grateful for the bipartisan support it has received, and I'm looking forward to the 2023 Appropriations Act becoming law."
Moore also said the budget reflects conservative policy wins. The budget will pass into law Monday, October 2nd, 10 days after it reached the governor's desk.
Americans are losing faith in the value of higher education, according to recent polls. I spoke with the experts on why that's happened and asked students, do you think your UNC degree is worth it? Take a listen. You may be seeing headlines like these. A recent Gallup poll shows that only 36% of Americans have confidence in higher education, a new low point compared to previous years. The poll suggests there are 2 big reasons there's less enthusiasm, and one is your wallet. Ethan Hutt, a professor in the School of Education, said college graduates still earn more money than high school graduates, but nowadays, debt is cutting into grads' wealth.
It's not uncommon if you know people who are in their 30s or 40s who have large amounts of debt, who the proposition of college and the benefit of college, waiting for the benefit has a longer tail than it did for, say, our parents.
The other reason Americans are more skeptical of college comes down to politics, according to Gallup.
They become seen as, these are places that are remote from, mainstream society. They're bastions of either conservatism or liberalism or whatever else. And so people say, well, that's not for us, or that's not for my kids or for me.
But how about for UNC students? With less promise of wealth and more perceived bias, is college still worth it?
I think college is definitely worth it.
Yeah, I think it's definitely worth it.
It definitely has been worth it.
Especially with the degree being from UNC, I feel like it opens up a lot of doors that wouldn't be opened if you didn't go to such a prestigious and highly regarded university like UNC.
I do think having that degree, it sort of gives it that sort of authenticity that yes, I do have these skills, I have done all of these things, all of these experiences in such a rigorously academic community.
I spoke with Professor Hutt, and he said that this could have a huge impact on the workforce if people choose not to go to college, because our current workforce still needs people with college degrees.
Yes, college can be really expensive, but for some, college can be free. A full scholarship here at UNC, the Morehead Scholarship, is now being extended to include sophomores. The scholarship is traditionally only offered to first-year students and fully funds their 4 years at Carolina. The program has now started the process to accept sophomores in their class of 2026. Nominees were informed on the 17th. The deadline to apply is this Sunday.
Sports betting in North Carolina will become legal at the start of the new year. And if Republican Senate leader Phil Berger gets what he wants, casinos might be soon to follow. CW's Walter Ranke explores how the prospect of a casino is affecting one community.
Camp Carefree is a summer camp for chronically ill and disabled children in Stokesdale, North Carolina. It was founded in 1986 and has only grown since. Mary Kate Young, a program director at the camp, says that it has a special purpose.
The intention was to have a place for children who don't typically have a place to attend camp.
The camp is in Rockingham County, a small rural community outside of Greensboro. But a major development could be coming to the quiet community, an entertainment complex that could include a casino. The issue for Camp Carefree? The complex would be built right next to it.
So if you look honestly directly right over my shoulder is where this land is that's being rezoned.
192 acres right next to the camp has been rezoned to highway commercial. This has concerned the camp's directors who worry about noise, light pollution, camper safety, and campers' experiences.
We're taking these children on for a week at a time. We want parents to be able to trust us with those things.
The process of building an entertainment complex in Stokesdale started back in June, when the Rockingham County Board of Commissioners changed an ordinance so that anything legalized by the state, potentially including gambling, could be done in a highway commercial zone. Mark Richardson, the chairman of the Board of Commissioners, says this change was so that the county was in lockstep with the state's rules.
Stuff like that happens a lot, particularly in building codes and things like that.
In July, a developer tied to a Maryland casino company asked the county's Planning and Zoning Board to rezone the nearly 200 acres next to Camp Carefree as highway commercial. While the developer never specified plans for the land, Richardson says that there has long been interest in possibly putting a casino on the land.
Without a doubt, there was an interest, even before it was rezoned, that this would be a good location for an entertainment complex, which would include, as we understood it, could include a casino.
The Planning and Zoning Board rejected the plan, but in August, the County Board of Commissioners reversed that decision, rezoning the land just off of Highway 220, but not without opposition from county residents. But Richardson says that while building a casino would be a big change for the small rural community, it would also bring much-needed jobs and revenue.
Now, to some people, they consider it detrimental. To others, they're going to say, but it's going to save us from higher taxes, and it's going to allow us to improve the quality of life that we have.
Even if a casino does get built, Camp Carefree will still be there.
We would continue to thrive, and we've been very vocal on the fact that regardless of what happens, we will continue to be here, and we will stand very firm in that position.
In Rockingham County, I'm Walter Ranke, Carolina Week.
Thank you, Walter. It's really interesting. Right now, there's only a handful of casinos in North Carolina, and it looks like this could really change things.
We will definitely keep an eye on this story. And when we come back, while construction workers build apartments for many students, other students build homes for those in need. We have more when we return.
How do you know when you've made the right decision? It's the feeling you get in your gut, the one that tells you what's right or wrong. It's the one that says, sure, I can have a drink, or the feeling that says, okay, I've been drinking, now what? It's the voice inside you that says, I'm buzzed, better leave the car when it's time to go. Plan ahead, catch a sober ride. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Today, we face an unprecedented crisis. Tens of millions of refugees have been forced from their homes. But you can make a difference. Turn disruption and despair to hope and opportunity. Even small amounts make a big difference. Provide shelter, support, or jobs in your community. The more we understand, the greater sense of belonging we create. Act now. Visit supportcrisisrelief.org.
Students who were supposed to move into the addition apartments on Rosemary Street have yet to move in. With construction still ongoing, they're having to stay in hotels instead. Muhsin Mahmood has this report.
Sophomore student Logan was excited to settle in and have an apartment. Instead, he's been placed in Alof Hotel, a 30-minute walk from campus.
I am living out of a suitcase. I feel like I'm on a trip.
He told us it's had an impact on his daily routine and it feels completely different from a dorm.
It doesn't feel like I'm here to stay for school, and that's what I was really looking forward to.
The Addition apartment complex was supposed to house UNC students for fall 2023, but construction is still ongoing, which means nearby hotels have had to accommodate students until work is complete. While some students have struggled with a delay moving in, others have had no issues.
It's been totally fine for me. My day-to-day life has just been the same as usual. I just get a roommate now, so that's not been a bad thing.
Sydney is staying at AC Marriott. Her 10-minute walk to campus is 3 times less than Logan's. Buns and Thayer showed us emails from the Addition, which say the target date for completion is October the 1st. They both say they are happy with how regular communication from the Addition has been. It's now down to the Addition to meet its deadline. Musa Mahmood, Carolina Week.
And another build is now also in motion. UNC Habitat for Humanity's first build of the semester is underway. Club leaders say its new project will create 200 new homes in the area. UNC Habitat had its first build last Friday at Weaver's Grove. The club's co-director, Cortland Bartzik, says this new area is set to hold 200 new houses. She says this semester's focus is to boost club involvement and get the project going.
It's crucial to us that we continue to volunteer, continue to fundraise, and just bringing more volunteers onto the build sites so we can build these homes quick and give families, a roof over their head.
Bartzik says funds go towards Orange Habitat so they can build the houses. The Weaver's Grove project is expected to take 5 years to complete. And if you're looking for something fun to do this weekend, Franklin Street Market's Up on the Hill Festival has got you covered. The 2-day festival takes place on Hooker Fields. On Friday, there will be thrift shops, food trucks, games, and other attractions. And Saturday is the main event, the music festival, with artists like rapper V's and the Band by George. Friday is free and everyone is welcome to come. Saturday, you can find those tickets on franklinstreetmarket.com.
That sounds like a lot of fun, and it sounds like the perfect way to enjoy this fall weather.
Absolutely. I'm really glad that it's been cooling down, but we should probably turn over to CW meteorologist Megan Giller for more to make sure that cool weather is here to stay.
Thanks, guys. If we're looking out into the tropics today, we're seeing Tropical Storm Philippe headed out towards the Caribbean islands, could possibly hit Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic, and the Bahamas, and kind of wash over towards Cuba and Jamaica. By Sunday afternoon, we're going to be seeing this storm sort of dissipate into a tropical depression as it heads towards these islands. We should still sort of be a little wary of a tropical depression. It can still bring in some high winds and some possible flooding and rainstorms as well. If we look a little further out into the Atlantic, we're going to be seeing this tropical disturbance start to head up towards the same path sort of as Philippe, towards the Caribbean islands. But we'll keep you updated on that storm as it progresses. If we're looking at our continental map today, we're going to be seeing kind of a lot of rain all around us, but not right on top of us, which can give us just maybe a little bit of showers possibly by the end of tonight. Nothing to really worry about, though. We're seeing this high pressure system up here in the north sort of pushing some air down towards us, giving us these cooler temperatures down here in North Carolina, bringing in that fall air for all of us to enjoy for the next coming weeks. If we're looking here in the Raleigh-Durham area, it's about 73 currently. We're seeing cooler temperatures up north, of course, as that low pressure or that high pressure system up in the north is pushing down that cooler air. And of course, about 78 down in Charlotte, just sort of getting a little warmer as we go a little more south. For your walk to class today, we're seeing upper 60s, and the real feel is right about there. This is just because we don't have as much humidity, thank God. It's kind of time for fall to kick in. If we head to our 5-day forecast, we're seeing the lower to mid 70s throughout the week. A lot of clouds today, but as we head towards the middle of the week, we should get a little more sun in there, but mostly cloudy throughout those days. But as we head to Sunday, the sun should come out a little bit more, giving us a little bit more sunshine for our Sunday evening. But that's all I have for you. Stay tuned after the break for sports.
Even though we didn't grow up together, he's my favorite brother.
Hey, sis.
I'm the baby of the family, and he's the gentle giant.
What you know about Port Georgia?
Man, please, that's a classic.
You know when they say people are a rare breed? Yeah, he's that.
I'm sorry, I'll be back in a few hours.
Don't worry, Shug, you know I'm for you.
I know.
Go get the football.
That was my favorite memory. He was always for you. This is a true story of me, Bridget Floyd, and this guy, George Perry Floyd Jr., my big brother.
Welcome back to Carolina Week. For the first time since 1997, Mack Brown and the Tar Heels are 4-0.
Let's turn to Sports Extra anchor Caroline Yaffa for more on Carolina athletics.
Well, UNC football fans are still basking in the glory of the team's 4th win of the season on Saturday night. The Heels kicked off an explosive scoring night with Amarion Hampton's 7th rushing touchdown of the year. Elijah Huzzy added to his highlight reel with an emphatic 52-yard punt return for a touchdown, giving the Heels their first lead of the night at 21-14. Huzzy had another nice punt return and 2 interceptions. Drake May continued his impressive outing with his insane offhanded throw to Kobe Paysour, putting the Heels up for good. An inspired defense led by Kamon Rutger held off the Panthers, and the Heels won by 17. The men's soccer team is still undefeated, adding a big win against Duke on Sunday night. Duke went up with an early goal, but UNC's Andrew Check notched his first career goal with this electric top corner strike to tie it up. Quincy Airmon followed it up with a powerful strike from the top of the box to make the score 2-1 for the good guys. The Blue Devils continued to fight back with strong looks and strong hands, as there were fights broken up on the field and ejections for both teams. Duke's last-second chaos almost sent the game to a draw, but a goalie save and crossbar came in handy as UNC was able to finish the game on top 2-1. The Tar Heels were fired up as they rushed over to their fans to celebrate this rivalry win. On Sunday, top-ranked UNC women's soccer hosted a top 3 showdown against Florida State at a sold-out Dorrance Field. The Tar Heels had lots of offensive looks early on in the game. The Heels had 3 corners in a row, but they couldn't capitalize. UNC went on a run with an unassisted goal by Maddie Darlene, and Allie Setnor assisted Kate Fossey in the 87th minute to give UNC the go-ahead. But as the clock wound down, FSU scored an almost buzzer-beater goal off of a corner. This left the top 3 matchup as a 3-3 draw, and here's the corner. It was a beautiful Sunday for the number 2 ranked field hockey team to take on Appalachian State at Karen Sheldon Stadium. Freshman Sunny Hawk finally accomplished what she's been working towards all season by putting the ball in the net, scoring her first Carolina career goal off a stroke. The team is always focused on scoring in the next 2 minutes after a goal, and sophomore Riley Heck was able to do that off the penalty corner. The Heels kept the momentum going, and Sunny Hawk had her second goal to finish out the first half, putting the Heels up 6-0. UNC dominated all game with an impressive 28 shots on goal to App State's 2, finishing the game 6-1.
The first one that comes to mind. She's been like knocking on the door this entire season. She's like, I'm not scoring, I'm not assisting. I'm like, yes, but you're doing so much. So today with the stroke, it was, hey, let's get this thought out of your head, go score, put it away. And then she had another one too.
Coming off a hot weekend in Columbia, South Carolina, the UNC men's tennis team hoped to dominate on home courts at the Tom Tuning Invitational. The Tar Heels started off strong on Saturday with a doubles win 6-4 against Wake Forest. Then it was on to singles action at the Invitational because on Sunday, Peters dominated the outdoor court with his swift victory 6-1 and 6-0 against Chang from Wake Forest, as well as Purimov picking up a victory for himself in 2 sets, 6-0 and 7-5 against NC Central's Artigas. The Tar Heels set their sights on ITA championships in Tulsa, Oklahoma next weekend. Please tune into Sports Extra on Friday for a preview of another exciting weekend of Carolina athletics. We'll be right back.
I'm an ex-drug dealer, and I'll be your sub today. Can you see anything different as a pill?
No.
You don't know?
Fentanyl is being mixed into everything now. There's only one thing that will save somebody's life. That is naloxone nasal spray.
Fentanyl, it's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable.
Why would drug dealers put a lethal dose of fentanyl in drugs if they know it's so harmful?
Really just all about the money.
I just didn't realize that one pill could change your whole life.
More kids should know.
It's one of the area's hidden gems, providing a unique experience for ice cream lovers.
Christian Phillips explores a local creamery serving up not just sundaes and milkshakes, but sunsets too, in this week's Covering Carolina.
They say that Chapel Hill is the southern part of heaven, and if that's the case, then Mapleview Ice Cream and Country Store just might be the southern scoop.
Located just minutes outside of Chapel Hill in the Hillsborough countryside, Mapleview has been serving its award-winning ice cream since 2001, and there are plenty of flavors to choose from.
Double chocolate, Carolina crunch.
I'm having the banana pudding, but I'm a strawberry guy.
And there are plenty of places to relax while you appease your sweet tooth. Eat it standing up, bring a blanket, or kick back in some rocking chairs. One thing to be sure to consider when planning on coming out to Mapleview are the crowds. Many people are fans.
During the summer, every night it's wrapped around the building, the line, every night no matter what. Sundays are easily our most popular day.
It's also not only ice cream on the menu here. Mapleview produces its own milk as well as an assortment of cheeses. All of it made right here.
We have designated people who work back there, and they're really good at what they do, obviously. I mean, we wouldn't draw this many customers if the ice cream wasn't great.
If you're in Chapel Hill looking for a quick getaway, good ice cream, and good views, Mapleview is the place for you. Reporting for Carolina Week, I'm Christian Phillips.
Well, that looks really good. I think we might have to head over there soon.
That looks absolutely delicious. If we're not careful, I'm going to look like that little girl with the ice cream all over my face. Well, thank you so much for watching this edition of Carolina Week. We'll see you right back here next time.